Thank the gods, thank the Instagram gods. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, you know it's a party.
Finally.
Finally, it's happened. Yeah, right in front of my face.
I got
Yeah.
a little hot too. Can I drink some water right quick?
Hey, as long as I can see your pretty face, you can do whatever you want, sweetheart, because we have been waiting for you.
Jeez. Technology. We ain't have all this back in the day.
Yes, it's funny you say back in the day. I wore my accountable shirt just just for you,
Thank you so much.
and I don't want to bore everyone, but you were one of the the original accountables.
I was. I
Mm.
so remember.
Yes, in our first accountability group meeting, and we'll go back to that. But anyway, I gave a great introduction for you, and I laid the red carpet out. I hope you feel like you've heard some of that. I hope you did.
I'm gonna go back and watch it. So yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you everybody who stuck it out here with me as I was persistent in getting Monica on. And like I said, we are talking about branding tonight because we have the brand storyteller. And when you told me about a brand storyteller, I was like, now I've heard a lot of things, but I've never heard of a brand storyteller. But one thing I know about you, ma'am,
Mhm.
that if anybody can do it, you can. Okay? Yes. So tell me about the brand storytelling. What does that mean?
So basically, I you already have a brand. Say you're Maria Enterprises, right? You're your own brand. So what I'm going to do is build the reputation around you, right? And get people to trust you and have integrity in Maria Enterprises. That's what I do. So I control the narrative, change the narrative, and create the strategy around promoting everything that is genuine and authentic to Maria Enterprises. That is what a brand storyteller does.
Wow. Sign me up. Now, who is your client? Who is your ideal client?
Well, actually, there's no client too small, and definitely there's no client too big. So I'm not going after the Lockheed Martins. They will come. But I love to work with a local small business, a regional small business, because those are the people that are overlooked. They may not have the budget for a full on marketing plan or a PR person or even to have somebody on their staff, but they will pay to have somebody consult them and tell them the things that they need or the the ways that they should go, things that they should be doing in social media, things that they're doing in their own marketing, their sales, their what like what angle they need to be taking and things of that nature. So the consulting thing just it's a wide array of things that can occur under that umbrella.
That's that's amazing. And so when you say there's no one too small, um, so you're saying like, let me ask you this. For instance, would a content creator be a good client? Maybe someone who wants to brand himself, or maybe I'm thinking a new business. And so when that person comes to you, do they have how much do they have to have when they come to you? Do they just have to have an idea and you fill it up?
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you no right now. Because there have people that will come to me and say, "Oh, I need your help. Oh, I need a marketing person," but you only have a business. What's your business? "Oh, what I want to do Well, come back to me after it's established.
Okay. Okay.
I tell a story of something that's not even birthed yet.
Okay.
Your
But
business has to be established. And if it's not, then I would take on another role.
mm,
Can't be a storyteller for a brand for that doesn't exist.
okay, so let's make the distinction right here. The ideal client doesn't have to be a Lockheed Martin with thousands of employees. However, it must be an established company with, I imagine, a vision and maybe some grassroots, like a website, a direction of where they want to go. Do they have to have employees, or could it be a sole proprietorship, something?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have to have a team. As long as you have a business and you need some type of branding, I could tell you a story.
Mm. What's the misconceptions about someone in your role?
There are people, just like I said, I need your help. I need your services. And they're like, you're the marketing person. No,
Mm.
that's not what I do. The marketing person is the person who sells the products, who pushes the sales. I don't do that.
Oh,
So, yeah, I'm building trust, your image, your reputation. That's what I do. I'm not here and I'm not the person to sit on your social media and say, this can respond. I'm not that person.
mm.
So
So,
people get it all. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but
oh,
people confuse everything. So I could say, oh, I do communications. That encompasses everything: marketing, PR, branding, strategy. So
it's always one.
it's all fun. But I don't do that. I can't sell your product. That's why you built your business.
So let me ask you this. Tell us about a success story with a client that you took from nothing to something.
Hmm. Without naming the client's name, um, this client started making wine and selling wine out of their garage. And my team and I previously worked with them. They built a tasting room. They created this large winery, vineyard, everything. And yeah, their wine is in a lot of stores.
Oh, okay. After working with you, because you took them from uh
Work,
being obscure,
yeah,
shall I say?
pretty much, yeah. So people, unless you lived in the area. If you didn't live in the area, you didn't know who they were. But they built a tasting room. So then they were events, and then they were having theme nights and things like that. So they couldn't do that out of the garage. They couldn't have people coming to their garage, standing there with a glass like, hey, let me get some of your wine.
So do you tell people that their baby is ugly and then you help them dress it up?
I don't tell them that it's ugly. I say it's unattractive. No, I, I say your baby just needs a little finesse.
Okay. So what about you, your personality? I already know some of the answer to this, but what about you makes you the right person or gave you the creative edge in this category?
Um, um, just because I'm me. I mean, I've always just been authentically me. Like what you got when we met back in early 2000s, I'm the same. When we were 15, that I'm the same person. I'm always showing up authentically myself. So regardless if I'm showing up in a three-piece suit or if I'm showing up in Uggs and a hoodie, you're gonna get the same Monica.
Yes. And can I share a story with you?
Gosh, what is yes? Take
This
some water. Like,
story. So, when I started this live, I mentioned that basically your your reputation or your brand is what people say when you're not in the room. And so today I was in the office and I was talking to someone who said, "Oh my goodness, I see that you have an interview with Monica tonight." I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "I adore her. I met her randomly somewhere, and she was the nicest person. And I followed her. I follow her on social media, and she's she's just stylish. She comes through very genuine, and I was like, amazing. And that's what a brand is. And to me, even though you didn't toot your own horn, but toot toot, I'm going to toot your horn and say that yes, you are that person. Just like you said, I'm me. Your confidence in your character and inside and out radiates. And so anyone, I could see where anyone would be uh, happy to work with you, and I can definitely see how that would shine through. So yeah,
oh, yeah, please, you gotta tell me who that person was.
I will. I will. But I just thought that was amazing when we're talking about brand. And this conversation right here is primarily geared for women. Some of the questions that we'll talk about are primarily geared to women. However, this is something that everyone, many people can relate to and take something away from as they move forward. So some of the things I want to do, I want the listeners to walk away with some tangible advice or maybe just even some candid moments from you. Is that okay?
It's fine. I'm scared. I don't know what you're gonna ask.
Yes. Just- One of the things I want to know from your opinion, and I've seen you with your sister circle, and you're surrounded by a lot of strong women and confident women and bosses, okay? Bosses. And I like that because they always say that you are a product of what the five people that you surround yourself with. And one thing about you, you definitely level up with your crew. So shout out to your crew. I know that a couple of them are on already. So give yourself a hand for being a part of that sister circle. But what I wanted to know, in your opinion, what is some of the common fears or insecurities that you think women have when it comes to being a business owner or building their brand?
Um, I can tell you one of mine. I second guess myself a lot. It comes from being a Virgo, and it comes from just being a perfectionist. So, one, overthinking,
Mm.
doubting yourself, not feeling worthy that where you are right now is where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Just kind of staying complacent. It
Mm.
hurts you in the long run because it affects your happiness. It affects your joy. It affects how you look at yourself, your self esteem. Like everything is affected by that when you don't move on it. So that overthinking will kill you.
Mm. What is your strategy for when you find yourself in a place of where you're overthinking?
I have really gotten into affirmations over the last 2, 3 years. So I have an affirmation app on my phone,
Oh, okay.
and it's called I Am. Look it up, everybody. It's called I Am. Always, God knows that have this app. So it always something that always comes up at the right time. And it's always dealing with what I'm dealing with. So it's like, Monica, you're worthy. You can do this. You got this. And also, just like you said, when my girls know when I ain't right,
Mm.
they're going to pull up, they're going to text, they're going to call. I will send them the voicemail. They will keep calling. My man will call. You have people that pour into you. They know when you ain't right. And when you off your game or you feel that you're off your game, it's somebody that's looking at you and they like, girl, you doing this. You've been doing this. This you. This like tonight. Quick story. My sister. I was like, why am I nervous a little bit? I'm talking to my friend who I've known forever. Like, why am I nervous? And she was like, girl, you do this. Like, you can do this in your sleep. This is what you do. You talk this, you breathe this. Da, 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 da. It's people. You have to have people in your circle like that. If they don't build you up, then I mean, who else is going to do it?
Absolutely. And I would like to say that I feel the same way. Like I get nervous. I people text me today, and a couple people are on the line that text me, and they were like, "You ready for your interview?" And I'm like, "I'm at the throw up my lunch. I'm nervous." But you know what it is? I think being in front of people sometimes people can be cruel. You know, I'm speaking for myself. I have to fight off the self consciousness, and I have to put on my gift and my purpose. You know, and so that is what I use to move forward. And one of the things that you mentioned overthinking. Oh my gosh, I am the queen of overthinking. And I have recently embraced imperfection
Mm, mhm, mm.
and imperfect action. And I challenge those listening to this to do the same. The amount of things I learned about myself just by taking imperfect action that I would not have learned had I sat in my little corner overthinking, man. Man, well, let me tell you,
Mhm.
I have it's like just now we started with this live and I was like, oh yeah, I want it to be perfect. Mm-mm, not at all. And that is one of the things I want uh to let women know. And this is a real conversation, real women having a real conversation about uh life and struggles. So with that being said, what have you ever felt stuck in your maybe your profession or in a personal situation? And how did you get out of that?
Yes, absolutely. I felt stuck. Um, because I initially started out in radio, where we
Yeah, that's where we met. Yeah, video.
um starting out in radio, I was like, radio is my first love. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Clearly, that's not what I'm doing right now, but it's taking me on a journey. So when I had to move away from radio, I was scared because I didn't know what I was going to do next. So the fear of the unknown always, it'll keep you stuck. But if you don't push past that and realize that God has something bigger for you, you're never going to take another step.
Yes.
So, I mean, it actually took me to television, which was opened up so many more doors. And then taking that step, and it just went on and on and on to where I am now. So you have to, again, going back to the overthinking, where and if I leave here, what's going to happen if I don't make this step? Am I going to still be working this same job and doing this exact same thing 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now? We're not our parents. We're not working government for 35 years and getting our little pen and our, our little trophy and going on about our business and retiring. We're in a different day and age. So we can make these choices now. We don't have to be stuck, but I have.
And I like that. And I am one of those career government workers.
Look, I'll be like, um,
It's okay. No, because I I'm okay with that. Today I was in a course talking about generations, and what I hear you saying is that uh, times have changed, in that people don't just sit in one space and stay there for forever. And some people do, but there are some people who sit there, and you have two people who sit there by choice and people who sit there because they're complacent, right? I heard you mention that. And so what I want to motivate people, and I think this conversation is headed in that direction, is to say, you have an opportunity to move forward, to move forward into the space that you're designed. And it may not feel comfortable, because if I hear you correctly, when you were at the radio, you were comfortable and then you took a chance on a new direction with the television. And that took you to a land of possibly the unknown until you were familiar with it. Yes?
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. But you would have never known that that was your gig if you had just said, you know what, that looks good, but that's not for me.
Hmm.
Right.
I probably would have stayed until everyone else left,
Mm, mm,
blown. So I would have had to go.
mhm, mhm. Was there a defining moment?
Leaving radio, yeah, couldn't stand the new supervisor. But yeah, and that happened in your journey, because you will come across people that you work for, and they will let you know that your time here is up. Not them personally, but it will sit in your soul that you've been here long enough. You've been in this seat long enough. You have to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so let me ask you, because I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this conversation. Your personal brand can show up at work also, yes?
Personal brand shows up every day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
So I was thinking about this when we talked about this the other day. Your personal brand is exactly who you are, what sets you apart. It's defining who you are. And I was like, you said something about if I could say something to my younger self.
Mm-hmm.
Did I have a brand in 2010? The Facebook statuses of Monica in 2008, they I cringe. I cringe. Why did I post that? You post like you didn't think you were going to be doing something bigger and greater in 2024
Mm-hmm.
would probably cause you to kind of rethink that. Like I say, your brand shows up every day. We see it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
If you really, what I post is what I'm thinking, or just like you said, you see my sister circle, you see my mom, my family, and time with the people that I love, and I'm sharing my testimony sometimes. I'm sharing my past sometimes, but this is all my personal brand. This is who I am. It's not a fake. It's not a facade. What you see is what you get.
Yes. Yes. And I think even deeper with that, I didn't understand my personal brand until I think until people kind of said the same thing more than once about me. And maybe I want to encourage people who are listening to kind of think about it in that context as well. What is it about you that shows up? Monica, you mentioned, going back to Facebook 2008. And even though there's some things that we can laugh at about 2008, there are probably some things that remain constant there are probably some posts that you say, you know what? Yeah, still repost that in 2024.
But
You know,
like 80% of the things,
yeah. Now there's probably some clapbacks that you did here and there that you were like, maybe I should delete that now. But I look at that, and so sometimes one person told me years ago, and I at first I thought it was kind of weird, but then I embraced it. I was like, yeah. They were like, your brand is that you're quirky. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm kind of, girl next door, type of quirkiness. Don't take myself so seriously. Da 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 da. And when I see a woman like yourself who's, always made up, and I'm like, oh, she looks so cute, so nice and stuff. But I sit back and I'm comfortable in my quirky shoes, you know what I'm saying? And that works for me. And so what I'm learning is that even you probably think about this with your client as well. Your client should not try to fit in a box that they don't belong.
Absolutely. As long
Mhm.
as they do their due diligence, they'll know where they fit in. And that's the whole part of branding. Like, how can I tell your story? What is it about you that sets you apart? What is it? Have you defined what your brand is?
Mhm.
What is that? Somebody's like, oh, I want to sell houses. Well, there are how 50 million realtors out here. What sets you apart? What are you doing differently that somebody else isn't doing? Is it your name? Is it how you got started? Are you
Mhm.
working in a revitalization district? Is this, what is setting you apart? And how are you defining yourself? Let's tell that story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, I'm thinking, um, this is the type of thing that we kind of teach our kids, don't post too much, or, you never know where you're going to find this again, type
Absolutely.
of thing. But adults sometimes don't take that same advice. And I see some people, even friends, who have stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah,
if you ever decide to jump into a different lane, my dear, uh, you- yeah,
it can come back to bite you depending on what lane you're going in. I mean, I know he's not our friend, but look at Kevin Hart. There are things that he said in the past. He was hosting something, and then they look back at things that he said in the past and they're like, not so much. I don't think we want him to host this. So
yeah,
this could happen. These things happen in real life, not just the celebrities.
absolutely. Yeah. So we're going back. We're talking about, to anybody who just joined us, we are talking about branding and talking with Monica Briscoe, who is our senior vice president at a local PR firm and also our brand storyteller. She is telling us all of the tips and tricks about your brand. And one thing that is coming through is that you have to be consistent. You have to know where you're going, and you have to make sure that you show up in a positive light. So, Monica, I would think that someone would have to have, what would you say, just like some colors, and maybe, no, this is one thing. You know what I want to think about? I'm thinking about, people don't have honest people in their circle.
Yeah. They do not.
Who's telling you, girl, no, no, mm-mm. You get what I'm saying? That is something. And again, this is the women advice, to people. Who is that person? If you are sitting around doing, everybody laughing at the same thing, someone needs to pull you up. So women, men, whoever, if you are not in a circle that pulls you up, and you learn something from that circle, exit exit, because it's chances are you're going down a rabbit hole. And this this is coming from a mature and seasoned woman at this particular time. Haven't always been that, but I have always had a good head on my shoulder and know that some things are not to be said and done. So, Monica,
I'm like, there she go, our little note card.
I have two cards here for you.
Okay.
Hi, Melissa. You said so true. I know. Thank you so much.
Pink. Or we're gonna choose pink.
All right. So, Monica, this is the confession corner.
Okay.
Hey, what's a mistake you made early on that you didn't realize was holding you back until later? And how did you address it?
Telling my ideas to someone that I thought I trusted at work, and then
Mm,
turning around and proclaiming the ideas as their own.
mm,
So I learned to shut up.
mm.
Yeah, you might be working with a team or on a team, but everybody isn't a team player.
I got you. I got you. And how did you address it or rise above it?
I started to pay more attention and play the game. That is how I learned how to play the game. So I didn't dumb myself down, but I paid more attention and I listened so that I was a master at playing the game. And then I also got a seat at the table.
Oh, I need to know more about that because some people don't know what that means when you say play the game and sit at the table. It sounds like it's a game of chess rather than checkers.
Absolutely. You do more listening than you do talking. And
Mm-hmm.
that I was sharing my ideas with someone I thought we were working together. When in reality, when I sat back, I was the one that was doing all the talking.
Mm-hmm.
I learned and when you and you listen, you hear not being said. It's a skill.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
How people say like read the room. Like, yeah, read the room.
Well, I have another question for you, and th- there's no choice except for this, so I'll just go with it. So, confession corner. What's one thing you wish someone had told you when you first started?
Mm. No. What is the one thing I wish someone told me when I first started? I would have to say, I always say you got to show up as your authentic self. Like, I wish somebody told me to not try to be like the popular person.
Mm,
So, taking it back to radio, there were so many popular people at the time. It's you, even where we met, but at another radio station, you start to pick up things from people, and it becomes part of who you are, but it's not who
mhm,
you are.
right.
So when you're young, you don't know that because you haven't defined your brand yet. So
Yes.
you're taking bits and pieces from other people and trying to create something that's not really you. I
Mm,
wish somebody would have told me to show up as my authentic self when I was younger.
mm. That's interesting because I don't know if a lot of people know who their authentic selves are.
Do you
Uh,
want to go there?
I do. Open the door, come through.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought.
No, the door is open, ma'am.
I don't think, I think people need to really look up the word authentic and what it really means, what the word means, and what it means to you. Because people don't have morals and values, so they can't show up as their authentic self. They're always going to show up as. And my parents told me that early on, and it's just, I don't know.
Yo, no.
And I see,
Oh no, I hear it. I hear it.
somebody said authentic self in corporate America as a person of color. If you know who you are, for me, I've never been labeled problematic, drastic, drama filled. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to work like, and y'all going to do this and y'all going to do that. That's Black woman, things that they try to put on a Black woman. We're a double minority. So that's not how I'm showing up. But that is how some people are showing up. And guess what? It's your job when you show up as your authentic self, is how you're perceived out in the world. When you show up differently, I'm not the girl on Love and Hip Hop. I'm not the girl on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So when you see something different, this is my authentic self. This is who I am. You may know the Black girls on TV that fight and throw water in each other, but I don't do that. That's not who I am. I love the Lord. I cuss you out, but I love the Lord. And this is who I am. So you're gonna get me at all times. And then it changes their perception of what a Black woman is, what she looks like, how she acts, how she speaks, how she carries herself, her demeanor. She's smart, actually.
Yes. Yes. I agree. And uh I agree. And I think the person for that comment, just saying, in corporate America, person of color, because as I mentioned, I've been in corporate America for 30 years and there's been some highs and some lows. And to walk into a room and no one looks like me,
Mm-hmm.
to have a seat at the table, but know that people hope that I don't have anything to say.
Yeah. Or that you get up quick.
Yeah. To speak, even in a whisper, and be heard as a yell, you know, that is an awkward place for women. And for me, showing up as my authentic self at times felt like it was unwanted
Mm-hmm.
because it hadn't been embraced. It wasn't embraced, you know. They, like you said, they weren't ready for that, diversity and equity and inclusion and all that other kind of stuff. That's right where we are right now. But 15 years ago when I was at the table and kind of just in the whirlwind, uh, and then a male dominated area at that.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very awkward. So yeah, that's but I like you, I stood firm on who I am. And that was consistent. I'm the same person now as I was back then. But I can say that I am more refined now. I I feel my shoes and they're comfortable. I'm comfortable in them. I'm no longer looking to the left and to the right to see what I can add on. I think in my 20s, I might have not been so secure and I'm like, oh, I like a little bit of that and a whole lot of that. But I had my foundation, but I was still trying to figure it out. But now I'm like a butterfly. I have bust out of my cocoon and I'm just flying in my lane and loving it. And so, go ahead.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. does. It's so freeing. And knowing that, going back to the brand, you know, I am the brand, and knowing that people talk, what people say about me matches who I want to be.
Mhm.
Let me say that again. When people, what people say about me matches who I want to be.
Huh?
That is, if I can get an amen from you, that is my brand.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's explore after this conversation.
Let's put it on a t-shirt, girl. I think we got some here.
Put the code on a t-shirt now.
It it's that not a bad part of my brand. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I need a brand manager.
Not at all. Trust.
So Monica, we're, we're going to wrap it up a little bit, but I want to know what's next for you.
I can't tell you that. But I tell you that God is opening up so many doors that I'm going to walk through. And I know that those floodgates are just going to open. And I'm just going to walk in expectancy and just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So how can people find you if they want to contract with you and have you be their brand storyteller and just increase their engagement, their brand, all of that?
First, I would say that they should DM me at adventures_PR chick and let's have a conversation. And let's just see where, because sometimes you may be ready. And just like we said in the beginning of the conversation, you may not be fully ready, but we can talk about it. So you can DM me or Facebook Messenger me at adventures_PR chick.
I love it. And your closing words of advice and wisdom to all who are interested in building their brand is?
Do your due diligence. Never underestimate networking events. You never know who's in the room. And when you go in the room, go to the center and work out. Stand on the outside. You want to be noticed. Go on the inside and work your way out. It's my strategy.
I love it. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate you. Hugs and love. All right, sweetheart. I'll see you later. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who joined tonight.